The icy water clung to Lyra's rough tunic, making her shiver so violently her teeth ached. But then, the heat of her absolute consuming anger kept her grounded. She pushed herself up from beneath the willow branches, rising slowly, dripping and furious. Ronan Kaelthorne stood over the body of the dead human hunter. He was immense, skin glistening with sweat and rain, his face a landscape of regret and intensity. He didn't move. He didn't speak. He just watched the exiled queen. "Did you come to finish the crown's transaction, Sir Kaelthorne?" she challenged, her voice low, dripping with venom. "Or just to clean up your king's mistakes?" Ronan flinched, not at the venom, but at the title. In the echo of his voice when he finally spoke was a painful rasp. "I came to save the child." Lyra scoffed, a short, sharp sound. "Save the property, you mean? The crown's heir. You are a servant of the very man who betrayed me, a shadow that followed his command. Why should I believe you?" He took a step toward her. The space between them burned. "I was banished, Lyra, exiled. I disobeyed him. When I heard the true nature of the trade, not to an allied court but to human slavers, I followed. I tracked you because I swore an oath years ago to protect the crown's future even from the king himself. You stood by when your pack brother was executed for treason. You stood silent while I was annulled," she spat, taking an angry step toward him. "You confuse loyalty with obedience. You are loyal to a debt that is already paid in blood." Ronan shut his eyes briefly. His chest ached. "My pack brother, Elias, the king forced me to execute him to prove my loyalty to the Dominion. That's why I left. That act broke me. I don't serve Caspian. I serve the idea of a just kingdom, and that idea is now fragile, hidden in your womb. I am not here for redemption. I am here because I owe a debt to the memory of my brother. You need a guide through this hell, and I know how to disappear." Lyra looked at his strong, guilt-etched jaw. Was this the truth? "If I go with you," Lyra whispered, the cold finally seeping into her core, "we will be hunted by 3 enemies, Caspian's trackers, the human slavers I escaped, and maybe you." Ronan met her eyes, golden and earnest. "If you stay here, you will die. I cannot betray a child I swore to protect." As the wind shifted, carrying the faint, distant sound of human calls, he offered his hand. "Choose life, Lyra. Choose survival. Choose to fight." Lyra took his hand. "We don't run, Ronan," she declared, her voice firming. "We prepare to return. We make the crown pay its debt." Chapter 1. The Annulment's Echo. The fear wasn't for her life. It was for the unspoken one she now carried. A dangerous, perfect secret. Lira Valenheart walked from the throne room, her posture a masterpiece of regal indifference. She moved like water through the marble halls. Still the king's consort in every graceful, measured step, yet internally, she was a prisoner being led to her execution. Her life was officially void, they said. Void. In that moment, the small, secret pressure low in her belly felt like the heaviest, most dangerous thing in the kingdom. The royal physician, Maestra Elara, met her in the private solar. Elara was an older woman whose face was a map of forgotten loyalties. "My queen," Elara whispered, the title a private, defiant breath. "No, Maestra, not anymore," Lyra answered, her voice soft but steady. Her voice trembled only slightly. Elara stepped closer, her hands, rough from a lifetime of healing salves and tinctures, clasping Lyra's arm. "Child, your heart rate, your scent is changing. The king—" Lyra shook her head once, a decisive movement. The king acted on the advice of the Iron Fang. 3 cycles were their demand. But then the heir took root on the 4th. The crown can't afford that truth, because it invalidates the entire alliance and shows his weakness. Elara's eyes widened, shimmering with fear and pride. "A prince? Oh, Lyra, this changes everything." "No, Maestra, it changes nothing yet," Lyra corrected. As if fate demanded it, She lowered her voice to a conspiratorial whisper, leaning closer. The political debt is paid with my body. I am to be traded to the human realm in exchange for iron and weapons. A bloodless transaction for a crucial alliance. The king needs to look strong. He needs Iron Fang's power to secure the eastern borders. The crown is willing to sacrifice me because they think I am just a barren diplomat, a mistake to be corrected. They underestimate me. She didn't know what scared her more, the human traitors, or the terrible, aching loneliness of her betrayal. Was there ever love between us, Caspian, or only duty? In the stillness that followed, she realized the answer was the latter. You have to tell me what to do, Alara insisted, her voice tight with panic. I know the king's shadow guard, Ronan Kaelthorne. He has always been a man of principle. Maybe he... No, Lira cut her off sharply, her breath caught. Ronan Kaelthorne serves King Caspian because his loyalty is to the throne, not the queen who was discarded. I saw him stand silent during the annulment. He's a soldier, a tool, nothing more. Instead, you will do two things. You will ensure the herbal tea I drink is for stomach calming, not anything that betrays the pregnancy. Second, you will tell the court I am gravely ill with a woman's ailment, a final, sad lie, to explain my sudden isolation. More importantly, you must tell no one of the child. It is our power. It is my shield. The crown's greatest shame and greatest asset. The stakes are high, because if they find out, they won't just annul the child, they'll destroy it, and me. Lyra's hands were shaking now, but she used the tremor to pour herself a glass of water, showing movement, not fear. She felt it, clear as day, the immense weight of the crown, no longer on her head, but pressed against her heart. I was never a queen. I was a broodmare. In the span of a breath, she vowed to change that narrative. With every heartbeat, the pulse of defiance against the king strengthened within her. From there, the preparations for her departure began, a desperate dance of deception beneath the king's watchful yet distant eye. Will Ilara remain loyal? Chapter 2. The Price of Iron. The Trade. The king's decree said she was a political asset. The reality was that she was cargo, treated no better than the sacks of silver exchanged for her. The royal carriage, luxurious black velvet inside with the Silver Fang crest emblazoned on the door, was an opulent cage. That night, the only light came from the two grim-faced royal guards driving the team. Lira sat alone, watching the mountain fortress of Silver Fang Palace shrink into a cold silhouette against the moon. It looked like a predatory animal waiting on a crag. As the sky darkened, the air grew heavy, thick with the scent of pine and oncoming rain. A different scent than the palace, more primal, more real. Lira touched the silk seat beneath her. This is the last time I will sit on silk, she thought. From now on, it's dirt and desperation. Meanwhile, in the driver's seat, the guard named Joran grumbled to his partner, "This whole thing stinks. Trading the former queen, it's weak. It sets a terrible precedent because it shows the humans we fear them. I hear the exchange is happening far beyond the usual border checkpoint closer to the rogue territories." The partner, Silas, spat onto the dirt road. "Aye, they call it the Widow's Crossing. It's where old oaths go to die. The king's desperate. Not only that, I heard whispers that Ronan Kaelthorne, the exiled shadow guard, was spotted tracking near the Borderlands. That wolf is poison. He hates the king for what happened to his brother. Let's hope he's not sniffing around our mission." Lira heard every word. The tension broke inside her head, replaced by a cold surge of dread. Ronan Kaelthorne. The man she remembered was quiet, lethal, and devastatingly loyal to King Caspian. She felt it. Clear as day, he was a threat, a loose end. Did he see me? Is he here to prove his loyalty, or worse? Despite that, Lira used the time for an assessment. Her wolf pressed forward, a subtle, protective warmth, a deep hum beneath her skin. The wolf only emerges when the stakes are primal. Soon after, the carriage stopped. They had reached the Widow's Crossing, a crumbling stone bridge over a black, sluggish river. Waiting there were 3 men, humans. They smelled like death and desperation. The tallest human, a brute with a missing ear and a voice like gravel, stepped forward. "The king's debt? The trade?" Joran pushed Lira forward. "That's why you get the former queen. A priceless, fertile political tool just as promised. We get the 20 crates of northern iron." Lira stood on the edge of the bridge. The human reached out a coarse, calloused hand and gripped her chin, forcing her to look up. "Fertile, you say? Well, we'll see about that." He grinned, a terrible, gap-toothed smile. In the echo of his voice, Lira heard her new reality: chattel. Before either could speak, a sudden, sharp scent cut through the night. Wolf. This was wild, primal, and angry. It was the scent of a lone, powerful predator. Lyra's heart skipped. The king's men hadn't just traded her. They had delivered her into a literal slave exchange. Her humiliation was complete, because this trade proved her worth was less than raw metal. What followed was the official, brutal transfer. Chapter 3. The Unraveling, the Final Insult. The transition from a political pawn to a slave was instant, brutal, and sparked the phoenix within her. Lira was shoved roughly into one of the human carts. By the time the trade was complete, Lira was no longer a discarded queen. She was property. "Move, she-wolf!" the brute barked, cracking a whip near her head. Her voice trembled as she spoke, not out of fear but calculated assessment. "You treat royal property with a lack of respect. King Caspian paid a high price for my silence. If you bruise the value—" The brute laughed, a harsh, dry sound. On the other hand, his companion, a younger man named Kael, looked uneasy. "She's still got the queen's voice, boss." "She's got a slave's voice now," the brute snarled. "Because of that, she'll learn her place fast." Lira realized with chilling clarity that this wasn't just a trade for resources. It was Caspian ensuring her permanent, lethal disappearance. A final, fatal insult. He knew the risks. No submission, no chain. The child will not be born in a cage. Lyra's internal monologue was a series of short, sharp sentences now. Without warning, the forest erupted. It was chaos, sharp yells, the sickening thwack of wood on bone, and the overwhelming scent of rogue wolf, feral, unaligned, and hungry. The cart lurched violently. A beat later, a massive shape slammed into the brute driving the cart. A terrifying snarl ripped through the air. Growl! Kael fumbled for his axe. Lira saw her opening. Her body moved on instinct. She snatched the heavy, rusted chain and swung it like a flail, striking Kael's jaw with a sickening, wet crunch. He cried out, a sharp, high sound. As fire bloomed beneath her skin, Lira threw herself over the side of the cart. The child, safe. Stay low. She could hear the fight raging, snarls, screams. A growl rose in her throat, a sound she had never made before, pure and animal. Her shifting instincts were awake. Just like that, everything changed. She was running for her future. She looked back for a fleeting second. One of the rogue shifters, a tall, black-furred alpha, moved with a speed and grace that was horribly familiar. Ronan Kaelthorne. Wait, was this his doing? As the truth unraveled, Lira chose survival. She bolted, deeper into the suffocating darkness. With his scent in the air, a dark cedar and leather that now smelled of danger and betrayal, Lira ran. Chapter 4. The Wild Hunt. The forest was a blur of black and gray. No matter how hard she tried, Lira couldn't stop the frantic pounding of her heart. Run! Her lungs burned, her slippers, worthless. She discarded them. But then, her wolf did. Her instincts surged, urging her to climb, to hide her scent among the water and the ferns. Deep down, she knew the truth. She couldn't outrun him forever. Lira found a small, icy stream, a capillary of the Black River. Without thinking, she plunged into the frigid water. She crawled beneath a thicket of weeping willow branches. The mud was a bitter, metallic taste on her tongue. It masked her scent. She stayed there, shivering, her arms wrapped protectively around her stomach. She felt it, clear as day, the faint, fluttery pulse of the unborn child. The brute burst through the trees, stopping just yards from her hiding place. "She's a wolf! They don't just disappear," he growled. "Find the tracks. That king's heir is worth enough gold to buy us a life of retirement. Find her." They know about the heir. Her thoughts spun. No, he was guessing. He was gambling. As the tension stretched, Lira focused on the cedar scent, Ronan Kaelthorne's scent. Closer now. The brute hunter finally gave up on the stream. But then, he walked right into the path of the newcomer. A single, terrifying snarl tore the quiet apart. The shifter was massive, covered in a cloak of black fur. His eyes glowed a terrifying gold. He was beautiful and lethal in equal measure. The wolf moved with trained, disciplined grace. With a single glance, he dispatched the hunter, a clean, surgical move. Lira held her breath. As the air thickened, the wolf shifted, revealing Ronan Kaelthorne. He was early 30s, built like carved granite, his face a landscape of regret and intensity. He was the most dangerous thing in the forest, and he was looking right at her hiding spot. Chapter 5. The Banished Night. Ronan stood over the body of the dead human. He didn't move. He just watched the willow. Lira rose from the icy water, dripping and furious. "Did you come to finish the crown's transaction, Sir Kaelthorne?" she challenged, her voice low, dripping with venom. "Or just to clean up your king's mistakes?" Ronan flinched. In the echo of his voice when he finally spoke was a painful rasp. "I came to save the child." Lira scoffed, a short, sharp sound. "Save the property, you mean? You are a servant of the very man who betrayed me, a shadow that followed his command. Why should I believe you?" He took a step toward her. The space between them burned. "I was banished, Lira. Exiled. I disobeyed him. When I heard the true nature of the trade, to human slavers, I followed. I tracked you because I swore an oath years ago to protect the crown's future, even from the king himself. You stood by when your pack brother was executed for treason. You stood silent while I was annulled," she spat, taking an angry step toward him. "You confuse loyalty with obedience. You are loyal to a debt that is already paid in blood." Ronan shut his eyes briefly. His chest ached. "My pack brother, Elias. The king forced me to execute him to prove my loyalty to the Dominion. That's why I left. That act broke me. I don't serve Caspian. I serve the idea of a just kingdom. And that idea is now fragile, hidden in your womb. I am not here for redemption. I am here because I owe a debt to the memory of my brother. You need a guide through this hell. And I know how to disappear." Lira looked at the pain etched into his strong jaw. Was this the truth? "If I go with you," Lira whispered, the cold finally seeping into her core. "We will be hunted by 3 enemies, Caspian's trackers, the human slavers I escaped, and maybe you." Ronan met her eyes, golden and earnest. "If you stay here, you will die. I cannot betray a child I swore to protect." As the wind shifted, carrying the faint sound of human calls in the distance, he offered his hand. "Choose life, Lira. Choose survival. Choose to fight." She took his hand. "We don't run, Ronan. We prepare to return. We make the crown pay its debt." Without another word, Ronan began to lead her deeper into the maze of the Borderlands. Chapter 6. Lessons in Primal Survival. Come morning, Lira was exhausted, blistered and hungry. The cold had replaced the silk of her past with a constant, biting awareness. Ronan moved with uncanny silence. "You're still smelling like court perfume and fear," Ronan murmured, his voice low, as he rubbed crushed pine needles onto her clothes. He knelt beside her, his breath warm against her ear. "It's hard to smell like moss when one is a former queen. The court scent is what they track. You need to smell like the territory, like earth, like wolf." He paused, his large hands lingering near her neck. As the bond pulsed faintly between them, Lira felt a strange mix of fear and comfort. Your diplomatic skills won't save you here. Your strength is your stillness. You need to learn 3 things: how to hide your scent, how to move without breaking a twig, and most importantly, how to listen to the wolf inside you. I'm not a wolf, Lira said, a flash of her old, dismissive court persona. Ronan stood, looming over her. The child is a wolf. You are a wolf, Lira. Denying it is suicide. It is essential that you embrace this, because the wolf is what will protect your child when I can't. She tried to emulate his silent movement, but then a hidden root tripped her. She stumbled, falling against him. The air thickened. They were suddenly close, his hard, steady warmth against her cold, trembling skin. Careful, he murmured, his voice low, a soft, seductive rumble. As if pulled by a string, Lira looked up. The moment their eyes locked, the tension was a physical rope drawn taut between them. He sees me now. The woman. We must keep moving, she whispered, pulling away. Her heart skipped. We will, he agreed. But first, you eat. He presented her with a small cache of dried meat and berries. He gave her the best portion, because he saw her as a treasure worth protecting, not a political debt. Chapter 7. Whispers in the Ruins. Next, they reached the edge of the abandoned ruins. This was the place where outlaw shifters and desperate humans congregated. We need to buy new clothes and supplies and maybe information, Lira stated. Ronan immediately disagreed. Too dangerous. Too many king's spies. Instead, we keep to the shadows. Ronan, we cannot hunt every day for 9 months. I need currency. And I need to know what they are saying in the capital. Lira bartered a jeweled hairpin, the last piece of her royal life, for supplies with a small human woman. Why are you running, dear? The human asked, her face wrinkled with suspicion and empathy. I ran from a powerful man who confuses love with ownership, Lira answered simply. What man doesn't? The human softened. They call you the Queen of Shadows. The king's trackers are offering gold for anyone who spots a woman matching your description. They say you stole state secrets. That's the official story. Stole state secrets. Lira realized Caspian wasn't just hiding her. He was actively rewriting her history. What's worse, the human woman added, a few days ago, a king's tracker came through here. He was looking specifically for the scent of Ronan Kaelthorne. Said the king wants his head on a spike, not because he was disloyal, but because he knows too much about the Iron Fang deal. Ronan's body went rigid. As the bond pulsed, Lira felt the spike of fear and anger that shot through him. The tension broke. Lira rushed Ronan away. He's eliminating a witness, Lira exclaimed. Ronan nodded, his jaw tight. With every step he took, his commitment to Lira hardened. Caspian knows I saw the paperwork. The Iron Exchange isn't just for weapons. It's a massive, long-term trade deal that compromises shifter territory for human currency. This changes everything. We are not just running from a betrayal. We are running with the proof of treason. Chapter 8. The Oath Beneath the Moon. That night, they rested in a hidden high rock cave. Ronan approached her carrying a small fire-heated stone wrapped in moss. His face was softened by the shadows. Your hands are cold, he said, the words simple, yet charged. My blood is cold, Lira confessed, a rare moment of vulnerability. The king annulled the marriage, but I can't annul the fear. Ronan sat beside her. As the silence stretched, he spoke of his exile. Loyalty isn't blind. It is a choice we make every dawn. He turned to her. The space between them burned. You are not a debt, Lira. You are the genesis of a new reign. The crown itself will answer to you. What if I fail? You won't, Ronan insisted. His thumb brushed her lip. In the quiet that followed, the intention was clear. My oath is broken, Ronan murmured, his voice thick. My loyalty is not to the throne, but to your heart, your life, and the future you carry. Without another word, he leaned in. The kiss was the raw hunger of two wounded people finding desperate solace. It was all wolf, primal, demanding, and utterly consuming. As fire bloomed beneath her skin, Lira kissed him back, pouring her defiance and her sudden, terrible hope into the embrace. Her body moved on instinct, melting into his protective strength. She felt the deep, rumbling growl that was more like a purr against her ear. They moved together, the heat and passion momentarily overcoming the cold reality. Ronan pulled back, resting his forehead against hers. The rhythm of their breath was a silent promise. Lira looked out at the moon. "I will not simply survive," she declared, her voice rough with emotion and new resolve. "We will go back, not as victims but as a political threat. I will return and make the crown pay for what it took." Chapter 9. The Outpost of the Banished. Despite that, the journey was grueling. Eventually, Ronan led them to a hidden settlement nestled deep within a ravine, the outpost. "These are free wolves, Lira," Ronan cautioned. "No titles, no hierarchy of birth. They earn respect through skill." The leader of the outpost was a massive female shifter named Zara. "The Queen of Shadows. We heard you ran from a debt. We honor no royal debts here." "I ran from a betrayal," Lira corrected immediately. "And the debt is owed by the king, not to him." "You bring the crown's shadow here," Zara growled, focusing on Ronan. Ronan's internal trauma surfaced. His bones remembered him. "I am here for redemption, Zara. I bring a secret. The king is selling your territory to humans for iron." Lira stepped forward. With a single glance, she met Zara's gaze. "I am a healer. I am also a diplomat. I offer my skills, not my title, in exchange for shelter. The king has rewritten my history, but I bring the proof of his treason, the truth that can free all of us." She spent the next hours tending to the sick. As the truth unraveled through her actions, the wolves' suspicion softened. Chapter 10. The Envoy and the Lie. Next, the inevitable happened. Caspian's envoy arrived, led by Lord Valerius. Valerius addressed the outpost wolves. "We seek the former consort, Lira Valenheart. She is a criminal who stole state secrets. The king offers a substantial bounty for her capture." Ronan, standing near Lira, stiffened. A low growl rose in his throat, pure fury. Lira stepped into the open, moving with an almost terrifying stillness. "Lord Valerius," Lira stated, her voice quiet but ringing with authority. "The only secret I stole was the knowledge that King Caspian values iron from the humans more than the freedom of his own kind. He rewrites history, because the truth of his betrayal would crumble his fragile crown." Valerius sneered. "You are barren. You are discarded. You are nothing. The king has secured his alliance and will soon name a new consort to bear his heir." Barren. Nothing. This was the ultimate challenge. Lira raised her chin. "The king seeks a new heir, Lord Valerius. Tell King Caspian this. The heir is already here. The true, legitimate prince of the Silverfang Dominion, the one conceived on the ritual fourth moon, is safe, and he will be born free of his father's cowardice." A gasp rippled through the crowd. Just like that, everything changed. Valerius went pale. "You lie. The king will crush you." "Let him try," Lira answered, her hand resting over her womb. "I hold his future in my body, and I hold his past in my hand, the evidence of his treason. I am declaring war." As a result of Lira's audacious claim, the outpost erupted. Zara stepped forward. "A queen fighting for freedom. That is a concept we can use. But then, the king's assassins will descend on us like plague. We need protection." "I will protect her," Ronan declared instantly, stepping beside Lira. His loyalty shifted fully. That night, Lira and Ronan stood guard together. The air thickened. "You are the target now," Ronan said, looking at her with a mix of awe and terror. "I was tired of being hunted, Ronan. Now I am hunting. The greatest power is not the king's army, it is the truth. He pulled her into a deep embrace, their bond pulsing strongly. The space between them burned. I won't let them erase you, Ronan swore, his voice a low, fierce vow. Before either could speak more, a sharp, metallic tang sliced through the air. Silver. The assassin was here. Ronan shifted, transforming him into a lethal weapon. The fighting act was a blur of primal intensity. Ronan fought with raw, furious strength. The fight was quick, savage, and ended with Ronan wounded, the silver blade having grazed his arm. Lira, the healer, was instantly on him. Her touch was frantic, professional, and intimate. We are in danger, Ronan gasped, the silver burning his skin. We leave at dawn. The declaration was the spark. Now we need a fortress and an army. Lira looked at the moon, now blood red from the rising sun. Her world tilted. Their final confrontation is inevitable. Chapter 11. The Serpent and the Shield, Betrayal and Choice. As the wind shifted, their flight became a strategic retreat. Lira used her core strength, her poise and intelligence, to negotiate their way into an abandoned administrative office. She felt it, clear as day, the danger. Inside, Lira searched. Moments later, she found it, a small, locked safe. She was a healer, not a thief, but then her desperation gave her focus. She found the proof, ledgers detailing the sale of Dominion lands for iron. The cost of power was graphically detailed. At the same time, outside, Ronan was ambushed by 2 royal guards carrying the king's seal. Ronan Kaelthorne, the guard, Torvin, spoke. The king has seen your error. He is willing to grant you full clemency and restore your rank because your loyalty is too valuable to lose. All you have to do is surrender the woman and the child. Bring them back, and you are redeemed. Ronan thought of Elias. He thought of Lira. He saw the difference between the cold, corrupt law and the fierce, protective truth. Before he could move, he knew the answer. His soul answered. The king's clemency is just another debt, Ronan stated, his voice ringing with finality. Tell Caspian I no longer serve a debt. I serve the future. He moved with blinding speed, disarming both guards. This was the climax of Ronan's arc. Ronan entered the administrative office, his chest heaving, his face set in a grim, exhilarating resolve. They offered me clemency, he told Lira, to betray you, to return to my old life. Lira looked up, her eyes wide but trusting. And you chose the debt of the crown. I chose you, he corrected, taking a step toward her. I chose truth. The oaths are broken, all of them, but the one I made to protect you. He reached out, his hand cupping her cheek. The air thickened. This was love forged in the crucible of absolute peril. I have the ledgers, Ronan, Lira whispered. We have the proof. We can take him down, politically. In the span of a breath, she moved closer. I know, he rumbled, pulling her into a fierce, protective embrace. But first, he kissed her, and the kiss was a promise, deep, tender, and intensely passionate. As the bond pulsed between them, their love was a direct, beautiful defiance. Her wolf pressed forward, her inner shifter responding fiercely to his touch. His purr was a low, guttural promise against her neck. As the echo faded, Ronan held her close, utterly spent, yet newly empowered. Lira curled into his side. We go back, she stated, her voice soft but absolute. I need to prepare the ground. I need to make the shifter leaders hear the truth. Chapter 12. The Interception. But then, the spy was closer than they thought. The simple message Lira sent was intercepted. Before they could move, they were surrounded by a select, silent cadre of Iron Fang warriors. Ronan fought like a demon. The fighting act was a desperate, hopeless struggle. He shifted fully, a whirlwind of black fur, taking down 3 Iron Fang with savage speed. What followed was a brutal, overwhelming surge. Ronan was eventually downed by an injection of a paralyzing serum. Lira was immediately secured. "The king thanks you for delivering the final evidence, Queen," the Iron Fang captain sneered, ripping the ledgers from her. Her humiliation was complete. In the quiet that followed, Lira was dragged back to the Silver Fang Palace, imprisoned in the deepest dungeon. Next, King Caspian came to her cell. He stood outside the bars. "Lira, look at you. You had a chance for a quiet exile. You chose war." "I chose the future, Caspian," Lira whispered, her voice rough. "The future is precarious. The Iron Fang cannot know about the heir. They will demand the child's death. I offered you mercy because I wanted to save you from them." He played on her internal flaw. Why throw it all away? Why invite death for this mistake? He opened the cell door. He offered her a final, terrible mercy. "Renounce the claim. Now. Say the child is Ronan's, a bastard of the Borderlands. I will spare Ronan's life. I will let you both disappear. But you must never claim the crown. You must surrender the fight." The tension was agonizing. Lira sank to the cold stone floor, defeated. Exhausted, broken, she questioned everything. Was she being selfish? Chapter 13. Rebirth in the Stone. Still, as the hours stretched, Lira felt the first, sharp, unmistakable pain. Labor. The dungeon, the fear, the pain. It was all consuming. Her voice trembled as she cried out, "You are just a vessel. You failed everyone." She felt the internal doubt return, suffocating her. But then, the pain intensified, and the primal wolf inside her surged, a powerful, protective roar. As her wolf stirred, the instinct of the mother took over. She thought of Ronan. She thought of her child, fighting to live. During labor, she heard the cries of her child, and something inside her reignited. "No, I am not a debt. I am the mother of the future. I am a sovereign." Her belief that her worth depends on others dies in that moment. Her pain gave way to purpose. And all at once, everything changed. With a final, agonizing push, the prince was born. A small, perfect, raw voice that cut through the silence of the dungeon. Lira, exhausted but victorious, held her son close. His scent was pure, silver light, and undeniable. The true, legitimate heir. Chapter 14. The loyal shadow come morning. The palace guards who came to inspect Lira's cell found a remarkable sight. But then, one of the guards was an old, loyal servant. He saw the child and realized the terrible, beautiful truth. His heart skipped. "My queen," the guard stammered, his eyes wide. "Help me," Lira commanded, her voice weak but firm. "The king is torturing Ronan Kaelthorne. He plans to silence us all. You must choose. Follow a corrupt king to ruin or serve the true, just prince." As if summoned, another guard, Alaric, stepped forward. "The king's dealings with the Iron Fang are corrupt," Alaric confirmed. "We will serve the truth." Lira's core strength returned. They smuggled her and the prince out of the dungeons. In the echo of his voice, Alaric whispered, "Ronan Kaelthorne is in the upper cells. We will free him, but you must reach the council hall. You must expose the truth before Caspian can spin another lie." The race was on. By the time Lira burst through the side doors of the Grand Council Hall, the Alpha Council was seated, and all at once, everything changed. Lira walked to the center of the floor, standing on the same spot where her annulment was declared. "The king is a liar and a traitor!" Lira's voice was hoarse, but it cut through the silence like a sword. She threw the damning ledgers onto the floor. "The state secrets I stole are proof of his treason. He is destroying the kingdom because he cares more for his own power than the safety of his people." She revealed the child. The prince. "Here is the true evidence. The legitimate, true prince of the Silverfang Dominion, born in the king's dungeon. The king betrayed the very concept of the crown." The council erupted in chaos. But then, a diversion. The main doors of the hall burst open. Ronan Kaelthorne, raw, bruised, but miraculously free, stood there. He was fully shifted, massive and terrifying. His soul answered the call of his mate. "King Caspian Draven!" Ronan's voice, though partially muffled by his wolf's throat, was clear and thunderous. "I challenge you! By the laws of the first wolf, I challenge your rule. I fight for the truth and the legitimate heir." Caspian had no choice. The council demanded a trial by dominance. The fighting act was vivid and intense. Ronan fought with primal, protective fury. Claws clashed, teeth snapped. Ronan's wounds bled, but then Lyra's love fueled him. Caspian was defeated. Ronan stood over him, the rightful victor. Chapter 15. The New Reign, Justice and Forgiveness. The council demanded Caspian's death. Before the council could execute him, Lira intervened. "The debt of the crown must be paid," Lira announced, her voice strong, echoing her new authority. "But the price will not be blood." She looked at Caspian, defeated and broken. She felt it, clear as day, not hatred, but a cold pity. "Caspian Draven, I declare a new law. Exile, not execution. You will be stripped of your name and title and banished beyond the Borderlands. Your life is spared so you may witness the reign you sought to destroy." She showed the compassion of the ruler he never was. The council grumbled, but then they submitted. Ronan, now standing beside her, looked at her with pure, unadulterated love and awe. He was not her king. He was her equal. Next, Lira assumed the mantle of leadership, not as a queen by marriage, but as a sovereign mother and leader by choice. She worked tirelessly, reversing the corrupt land deals. As a result, she forged a new, honest treaty with both shifter and human factions. Ronan stood by her side, no longer her protector, but her consort, her partner, her equal. Their bond deepened into love, rooted in mutual respect and shared governance. Lira walked through the palace gardens at dawn, once a prison, now reclaimed. The moment their eyes locked, it was a look of shared victory and quiet, deep intimacy. Ronan joined her. "We paid the debt, my love," he murmured. "The cost of freedom was everything I once believed I needed," Lira replied. What remained was her truth. She was never the king's debt to pay. The crown, in the end, was hers to claim. Years later, Lyra's child plays on the palace terrace under a moonlit sky. Ronan stands with Lira, their hands clasped. In the stillness that followed, a messenger arrives bearing word. A new threat stirs beyond the human frontier. Lira lifts her gaze, unafraid. As her wolf stirred, she smiled. The queen who rose from exile is ready once more to defend what she built. The end. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to this channel for more heartfelt romance stories. And also don't forget to hit on the like button